Hi, David here from Absolute Music. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel, or if you're watching us direct off our website, all cool. Today we're going to be focusing on a couple of bits as promised in an earlier video. We're going to be looking at the end of Sweet Home Alabama's main lead riff. This is a little bit using a couple of notes down at the end of the guitar and a couple of little techniques, hammer-ons and pull-offs, also known as legato if you want to get fancy. What we'll do is we'll crack on with this one, and then I'm going to also show you a little bonus riff off the end of this that you can play. So this little lick we've got, we're going to be using some open strings, and we're going to be using the 2nd fret on the guitar and the 3rd fret on the guitar. Now to do this, you can do it all with one finger if you want, or my personal preference, give each finger a different job to do. So you'll have your 1st finger at the 2nd fret on the guitar, your 2nd finger at the 3rd fret on the guitar. Alternatively, you could choose your 2nd finger for the 2nd fret, 3rd finger for the 3rd fret, entirely up to you. So I'm going to go with my 1st and my 2nd. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with the open A string, and I'll just play this lick for you quickly first so you can hear it. It's this one. So it's that little bit on the end of. So you can fish this one out of our earlier videos if you haven't learned that bit yet. So without further ado, we'll start off with this open A string. So that's counting up from the bottom of the guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's this one here. We're going to pick that, and then we're going to hammer our finger on. So I'll bring my hands closer together so you can see this. I'm going to pick this string once, and then without picking it again, hammer my finger onto that note. So, and again, pick it, hammer on. So there's no pick the 2nd time. If you pick it both times, it sounds a little too aggressive, so we want it to be more relaxed. So this will require a little bit of pressure under the finger. So you really need to give it a hit. We're going to do the same on the string physically underneath it. So that's the D string, that's going up in pitch. We're physically moving down in terms of direction. So we're going to pick that string without any fingers on it. And as before, once we picked it, we're going to use our finger to hammer onto the string. So putting those two together, pick the string, hammer on. We're going to put those two whole sections together. So the A string, that's your 5th string, counting up from the physical bottom of the guitar. Then we're going to move on to the D string, pick that, hammer on that as well. To mask the sound of coming off the string, we're going to very, very quickly pick the one underneath when we need it as we remove the finger. So let me give you a demonstration. So this finger, you can see, leaves the guitar at the same moment I pick the next string. So we're kind of synchronizing the two hands up. That's quite an important part because it stops all the extra noise. When you take your finger away, you can hear, you get a little bit of string noise. So we mask that by playing the next string at the same time, like this. So there we get nice, pure single notes. Once we've got our note here, this hammer on, so we've gone from the open D string to the 2nd fret. So for those of you who've done a little bit of theory, that's your open D to the note of E. We're going to pull this finger off of the string. Now you'll actually need to give this a little downward tug like this so that you actually pull the string down and flick your finger away. If you don't do that and just take it off, you get a very weak note. We need to actually pick the string with this finger. And that's the pull-off part. So we're going to play the string, D string open, hammer, pull off. That's the 4th one in. So I'll play that a whole bit. So you can hear there we get 3 notes. We've only actually picked once. So I'll put that together with the other part. So we're using the A string, that's the 5th string, physically up from the bottom of the guitar. We're playing that. We're moving on to the next string. We're doing the hammer on, and we're doing the extra pull off there. One last note, it's the 3rd fret, and this is where your extra finger comes in handy, so I'm going to use my 2nd finger here. It's the 3rd fret back on the string we started on, the A string, which is the 5th string, and it's just that note. Put it all together, for those of you who want a little bit extra, you can give this a little bit of vibrato by pulling the string downwards and kind of wiggling. You get this sound. It's a nice little added extra, so the note kind of seems to rise and fall. So you can stick a little bit of vibrato on the end there if you want. Putting that in the song, so as I say, grab this from an earlier video if you haven't done it yet. There we go. So, as promised, I've got one more lick for you. We're going to take what we've just done and I'm going to shift it slightly, and you're going to get a completely different song with the same physical motion of your hand. So here we go. We're using the same strings with the same motion. We're starting with the open A string, but instead of using the 2nd fret like we did for Sweet Home Alabama, we're going to use the 3rd fret. I'm going to play this to you, and then I'm going to see if you can either pick up which song it is, or I'm going to tell you at the end. So this starts with your open string, hammers onto the 3rd fret, moves onto the string underneath, open string, so that's the D string, hammer onto the 3rd fret. So it's exactly the same for Sweet Home Alabama, but we did it at the 2nd fret. We're now doing it at the 3rd fret. So we're then going to do the pull off again to the open string. We're going to move back onto the A string like we did for Sweet Home Alabama. We're going to use the 3rd fret again, so with this one there's no need to move. One last note, we go back on to the D string, that's the 4th string up. So that's played like this. This is a song called Layla. So you might want to check that one out. It's by a guitarist called Eric Clapton. Have a little look. He's got some other songs you might like as well. From here, take those 2 licks, practice them around a lot, see if you can speed them up a little bit. You might need to start a little bit slower than I've played them just to get your fingers working, and then bring the speed up. You can even use a metronome, which will give you a little regular tick to play to. That's quite a good little practice tip. Check us out and pick up some of our other videos that we've got going, and I will see you guys for our next video very soon. Take care.